There we go. So that said, I am Vince Jackson, the Executive Director of the Greater Northampton Chamber of Commerce, and I want to welcome you all to our very first Link and Learn session of this year's Connect campaign, which is being led by Jen Ewers and Chris Gallivan. And so thank you, Jen, for your leadership on this important part of the work that the Chamber does every year. The Link and Learn series is our educational programming outreach to the community. All of our educational programs are 100% free. We appreciate the time of our experts who lend their talents and their wisdom and their direction to make this program a success. And certainly I want to thank Florence Bank, the sponsor for this year's Link and Learn series. So without further ado, you're all here because you want to be a course creator, right? And we are so fortunate today to have a creator, to have a curator, to have an educator, to have an owner operator of a business, and to have someone who is relatively new to our community, but who has jumped right in and is willing to lend her expertise and her passion for educating our community so that we're all smarter together. And I'm talking about our guest today, Jess Paré of Alchemy Learning Solutions. We couldn't be more fortunate than to kick off the Link and Learn part of our Connect campaign with Jess's presence. So Jess, I know that's probably not the greatest introduction of who you are. So if you feel so inclined, you can take the mic from here and tell us a little bit more about you and your organization and take it away from there.
Awesome. Well, I was actually going to say the opposite, Vince. That was quite a lovely introduction. So I think I need to bring you around as like my hype man whenever I speak from now on.
Great, we can go on tour.
All right. So welcome everybody. I am Jess Paré. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about myself and my business as we get into things today, but I'm going to start by sharing my screen, and I want to get you all involved in the conversation. This is not going to be a meeting where I'm going to talk at you for 60 minutes. I'm really hoping to make this interactive and something that you walk out of here knowing something about yourself and your business and having action steps that you can take. So yeah, I hope you're all in for that. So I want to start with a question. We're not in person, so this raising of the hand, I can see some of you while I'm sharing, but not all of you. Feel free to drop in the chat and count that as your raising of the hand. So raise your hand if you like the idea of passive revenue. I'm only seeing one hand. All right, maybe Dan is on board with some passive revenue. Raise your hand if you've ever thought about creating an online course. I'm seeing a couple of hands, okay. And now I know none of you have ever felt intimidated or overwhelmed by the course creation process, so it wouldn't be you, but if you've ever heard of someone who might have felt intimidated or overwhelmed, maybe raise your hand. Okay. So you're all in the right place, and what we're going to do together today, like this is really for people who have heard the buzz around creating an online course, but you don't really know exactly how it works or if it could work for you and your business. You might be thinking that you need to be a tech wizard to have an online course, or maybe you need to have a massive team supporting you with all the implementation stuff, or that you need to have a PhD in whatever it is that you might be teaching to create a successful course. You might be thinking that it sounds great to have an online course, but you have no idea what you could teach, or you have all the ideas of what you could teach and aren't sure how to narrow it down. So we're going to address a lot of these things in our conversation today. And the three things that I want to make sure you leave with are why I think you should care about online courses. How do you even get started? And I'm calling this "What's the big idea?" but it's really like, what's your idea? What is something that you could feasibly teach in an online course? And how do you go about mapping that out, outlining? So how does that feel to everybody so far as a map for what we're going to do today? I saw a thumbs up from Mike. All right,
good.
cool. Yeah. Is there anything else that you would love to hear? I'm going to stop share for a sec so I can look at everybody. Is there anything else that you were hoping to get out of this today that I didn't just say we were going to cover? Because I want to make this really useful for you.
What equipment, maybe, what's
Okay.
required?
What equipment? Yeah. Dan, did you have something?
How important is branding when starting a new online course?
Okay.
And-
Branding, equipment.
And Jess, I don't know if you're gonna get to it, but I was talking to somebody yesterday about this, an entrepreneur mentoring about pricing.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And if there's anything else that occurs to you as we go along, feel free to drop it in the chat. I see Alexander said suggestions for video tools and editing. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. So let's come on back here. All righty. So why the heck should you listen to me? So aside from Vince, singing my praises, why am I the one that is talking to you today? So I do have some credential-y things that I put on here, but I think, my master's in education, my certification in instructional design, they give me a foundation for the work that I do, but they're not the reason that I'm able to do what I do. Really, I would attribute it to being able to consult with the client to understand what they're looking to create, what their vision is, and help them really craft it. And then apply the learning theory that I got in school to design learning that is effective. And so, I have worked in the past year, my business is only a year old, but I've been doing work in education for 15 years. But in the past year, I've worked with over 25 clients to create all kinds of different learning experiences, from virtual experiences on Zoom over a couple of weeks to experiences that are completely self-paced online, to hybrid courses that have an element of all of those things. And even helping someone who wrote a book create a companion course for that book to help people apply the strategies that he was teaching in the book. Learning design is my joy and my purpose. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Strengths Quest. It's one of those personality tests like Myers-Briggs. My top strength is learning. So it's no surprise that I'm here doing this work. I love it. It feeds me. I'm seeing something. Oh, thank you, Megan, for the encouragement. All right. Oh, and I guess one last thing I'll say is my company is Alchemy Learning Solutions, and I call myself a chief learning alchemist. And I use that language because I am a nerd about things magical and fantastical. And I love the idea that alchemy signifies kind of a balance between science and magic. And that's what I think happens in the learning process. There's science to it, there's theory, but then there's also this like magical transformation that occurs when people soak up new ideas and apply them to their lives. So I really care about that personal transformation element of things. Okay, so the 3 things you need to know. Why should you care? How do you start? What's your big idea? So we're going to get started with the why should you care. And I'm going to give you a preview that we're going to do some math in this section so that you can really see like what could the impact of an online course be for your bottom line. But first of all, there's a myth, I think, that only certain topics can be appropriate for online courses. And I don't believe that. I think any of these things in my nice little word art over here and more can be taught online. So, whether it's beekeeping or bread baking or how to sell houses or, relationship coaching, it can all be done online. And if you want to challenge me on that and throw something out there, I am happy to take that challenge. Okay. So another reason why you should care is that it allows you to help more people. So a lot of the folks that I work with are coaches or consultants. They work one-on-one with clients. And so they are not making money if they're not working one-on-one with that client. And so they're limited, their revenue is limited by the number of hours that they can spend face-to-face, right? So with an online course, you're getting out of this trap of billable hours times your hourly rate equals revenue. Because, so let's think about how many clients you can serve in a month right now. If you create an online course, you're able to serve more people without putting in more face-to-face hours. So who wants to be a little, to play with me here on this? How many clients can you serve in a month right now? Dan?
Oh boy. I'm trying to think as a company or just as just a sole person, probably 15 to 20.
Okay, 15 to 20. And is it possible for you to increase that number?
Sure, of course there is.
Okay. What would be like your ceiling?
Ooh.
Mm,
I guess it really depends on what
capacity.
they're looking to do as well. So maybe like 25 to 50, probably like maybe 50, depending on what they're
Okay.
looking to do.
Okay, so 50. And maybe you could serve more if you bring on more staff to help offload some of the work too. But then you've got operating expenses going up and revenue going up. So it kind of balances out a little bit, takes some of that revenue that's coming in off the top. Whereas if you create an evergreen, meaning self-paced online course that's not requiring your time after you've created it, then you can keep serving clients on and on and on forever and ever without more time. So it really helps free you of this cycle of time, hours for dollars. Okay. So here's a third reason why you might want to care about online courses. It can provide a more affordable service than the one-on-one coaching or consulting that you do for clients right now. So this gives access to people who might not otherwise be able to access your services. And, if you care about helping people, which I imagine all of you do, that's why you're in your business. This is a great way to offer value and to start building relationships with people, even if they can't afford your high ticket offer right now. So that's one reason. Another reason is an online course can serve as a low or mid-level offer. So when I say low, I mean, you could create a mini course that's educational, that helps people who are just getting into the world of what you do, learn a little bit more about what it is that you offer, enough to whet their appetite and to get them coming back for more. But it's a low barrier to entry, it's not a high price point, and it can get them in the door so that you can start nurturing that relationship. It could also be a mid-level offer for you. And what I mean by that is maybe it's not just a mini course where it's like a bite-sized bit of information that's very specific. With a mid-level offer, it could be something more substantial, like the transformation that you're going to walk them through is more tangible. And maybe it does involve a little bit of support from you, maybe a group call once a month, something like that. And that can serve your business because it can get people a lot more face time with you without more time one-on-one, because you're group coaching or group Q&A calls with them. And then they get to really like you and they see the benefit of, oh man, maybe I should sign on and work with them one-on-one, because this has been great, but I could see the value of really diving deep with somebody. And then that feeds your high ticket. It can also beef up your one-on-one service by, if you have clients that you're working with over time and you're like, every client asks me the same damn questions and I'm so tired of repeating myself, you can record videos throw them up on an online course, give access to your clients, and bingo, they've got more value for the same service, and you're not repeating yourself. You can claim some of that time back. So I'm going to pause here and ask, how is this landing? What's sticking out to you?
I think it also gives you sort of there's a term I remember reading years ago about expertising, where by doing something like this, a short video or something like this, even if it's very low dollar or even free, like on your website, a quick video, it expands the documentation of your expertise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. It helps people see you as an expert. It helps them see the value of continuing to work with you. Mm-hmm. What else is jumping out to people so far about, is anything surprising, anything you weren't aware of?
I think it'd be curious to see like I feel like there's a lot of other kinds of people that do the same thing, but what's going to be that different factor that's going to set you apart?
Yeah, that's a great question. So that's part of the process, right? So there are the course creation market right now is full. Well, not full. There's a lot of people in the market.
Yeah.
And so it is really important to not just create another meditation 101 class. It's important to think about who is the person that you're selling this to, that you're gearing it to. What is the specific problem that they're experiencing? And then how will this course solve that problem? And that's how you can really differentiate yourself, because you've niched into this specific audience. I see a lot of people afraid to do that, afraid to niching. So like, I'm going to exclude all these people and there aren't going to be enough people to buy. And that's the opposite of how we need to be thinking about it. So we'll get into that more, and I'll walk us through an example of how to identify that audience, that problem, that transformation, and how that guides the course content. But thank you for sharing that, Dan. And I'm seeing some comments from Alexandra. What is the best way to gauge success and interest to know where to further focus efforts? Also, how do we identify the best platforms? Okay. The best way to gauge success and interest. Success meaning what, Alexandra? Can you clarify? No, she's still on mute. Okay. Well, I'm going to read that question as, how do you validate that there's a market for the idea that you have? And maybe, I hope that's what she was asking. Yes. Okay, sweet. So yeah, there's a process that we go through called market research, and it involves some simple Google searching. No worries, Alexandra. So market research, when I first heard the term, it sounded kind of intimidating to me. So I was like, I don't know how to do that. And it's really not that scary. So it involves doing some Google searches, trying to find who might be out there that's serving this niche already. And what are they providing? What are they charging for it? So you can do that through Google. You can, if they don't have their pricing listed on their website, you can schedule, free consultations with them and see if they'll quote you a rate. I've done that before. And then it gives you a sense of like, what is the low end? What's the high end in the market for the kind of thing that you're looking to offer? There's a lot more I could say about that. The other strategies would be reaching out to your ideal client, people that you've actually worked with already on this kind of topic, and doing a 15-minute kind of interview with them to get some information in their words about what it is that attracted them to you, what it is that's most helpful, what their problem is. And so you can use that language then in your marketing to attract people that are ideal back to you. So those are a couple of strategies for market research. There's a lot more out there, but I want to keep moving through things so that we can get all of our outcomes accomplished. All right. So why should you care? So here's some math for you. So thinking about if you have an existing list of prospects, that could be your email list, it could be your Facebook or Instagram followers, it could be a list of current clients or past clients. So the industry standard is that 3% of your warm leads will turn into buyers. So if you have 1,000 warm leads, that's great. That equals 30 buyers. Say you're selling your course for $500. That equals 15 grand without you having to do any more marketing than just reaching out to your existing prospect, having to attract new people to make that money. If you got 500, you're looking at 7,500. So if you think about what you might invest in creating an online course versus the payout on just your existing prospects, it's probably going to pay for what you are investing to get the course created. And then on top of this, it's just going to keep paying over time without you having to invest anymore. So that's from existing prospects. Let's think about new clients. So say you were able to attract 5 new clients a month to purchase a course at $500 per course. You would bring in 30,000 more per year or 2,500 more per month. What could you do with that additional revenue in your business? And 5 new clients a month for an online course is pretty, what's the word? I'm losing my English. Conservative. Thank you. Dan, I see you unmuted. You have something to say?
No, I was just kind of just trying to understand, kind of getting the numbers of kind of the new clients, and I think that it's just again trying to understand like how to attract the clients at the kind of person. I'm sure you're going to get to that point eventually.
Yeah, so I don't have a lot of time to talk about marketing in this presentation today. But, you know, if you think about a marketing funnel, there's the awareness level at the top of the funnel. So people need to know about you. So there are all kinds of strategies to help people get to know about you. You could be doing Facebook ads. You could be speaking and networking. You could be, you know, publishing content on blogs and things like that, right? So that's awareness. And then there's interest. So from the awareness, they have to be interested in what you're offering. So how are you going to get them interested? What are you going to share with them that's going to make them say, okay, I should pay attention to this. And then there's desire. From the interest, they need to desire what it is that you have to offer. So how are you going to show them the value in what you're providing? So awareness, interest, desire, action is the next step. So how do you get them to actually, you know, give you their credit card information? Yeah. So, you know, there's this funnel situation. I think a lot of people struggle with that awareness. Like, how am I even going to get people, you know about me? And there are marketing strategists and marketing agencies that can help you with that. All right. So your turn to do some math. So I would love for you to just think about, we're going to work backwards from your annual revenue goal. And let's just come up with, this doesn't have to be something you stick to. It doesn't have to be super serious. Let's just play with this to see what's possible. So say you wanted to bring in an extra $30,000 a year from an online course. We're going to calculate how many courses you'd have to sell per month to make that goal. So whatever your goal is, divide it by 12 months. That's your monthly goal. And then divide it by, let's say, $500 or whatever you think in your gut you might want to charge for an online course. So maybe it's 500, maybe it's 250. That equals the number of courses you have to sell per month. And when you've got a number, I would love if you would throw it in the chat. Let us know how many courses we have to sell per month to make your goal. And maybe share like, what would your goal be? Seven courses, Mike, per month. Okay. And so here's the thing. When you create a course, we talked about validating it already. So making sure that it's something that your ideal client is going to see the value in and want to purchase. The other thing that I think it was Dan asked earlier is like, how do you differentiate it in the marketplace? And so we talked about niching and solving a specific problem. There was a question about pricing. So market research is going to help you determine your price, but also if you start at a lower price point, offer it as like an early bird price or a founding members price. Then you can get people in the door, they're invested because they're paying something. And so the odds of them actually completing the course are higher. And then they are going to give you your testimonials. So change for this early bird price or this founding members price, they're expected to give you testimonials and honest feedback so that you can make improvements before you go on a live launch. Question, Dan?
How important, in your opinion, like starting a course like this, are testimonials, like from real people? Like the importance, like 1 to 10, because my thought process of just testimonials from actual clients that have used the product are so important in the sense to help build credibility.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree. Highly important.
Okay.
And, you know, if you think about when you go to buy something, if you're just kind of meeting the person that's created it and you don't really know them from Adam, the thing that's going to convince me to invest my money in them is hearing about the difference that it's made for other people, whether it's written testimonials or videos are even better if you can get them. So yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. So how did it feel to do this math exercise? Anybody feeling excited or overwhelmed? Feel free to drop it in the chat. What a coach said to me once was, there are 8 billion people on the planet. And Mike, you've got 7 courses you need to sell per month. Do you think you can find 7 people to buy this course from you out of 8 billion? Probably, right? I should hope so. You know, with the right strategy, with the right support, it's a no-brainer. Okay, so moving on. Number 2, things that you need to know. How do you even start? So the first thing is coming up with an idea. What could you possibly teach? And doing some research to see if it's valid, see if anybody will buy it. So I want to give us some time to come up with ideas. And here's what I recommend. I'm not gonna like give us a ton of time here to brainstorm, but I would love for you to take like 1 minute and just see how many ideas you can come up with of things that you could teach. Just like fill a page. Don't try to edit. Don't try to pick only ideas that are you know, going to be winners. Just what are things big and small that you could teach to your current clients, future clients? The clock has started. Who's got some ideas? Maybe I'll give you another 15 seconds. Wrap up your brainstorming. Fly fishing, Rachel. Why not? Also, if anyone wants to teach beekeeping, I'm totally down to take that course. All right. So we did some ideas. So now I would like to, can we just popcorn, like shout out some of the ideas that you came up with? Vince, what did you come up with?
How to dress for success.
Mike?
I kind of thought about all the talks I've given over the years recently. And like I'm giving one next week on value in healthcare. What is value in healthcare?
Nice.
And also I've done a lot of talking over the last year about COVID vaccines. So
Right, about vaccines. Yeah, sorry, you broke up a little bit there.
yeah, COVID vaccines, particularly COVID vaccines.
Yeah.
I think a dress for success is more monetizable because the things I'm talking about, there's a lot of volume of stuff out already, but I'm interested to hear what other people have come up with.
Okay. Who else wants to shout out an idea they came up with? Rachel, I want to hear about this fly fishing.
Yeah, I definitely do fly fishing. I wanted to start a women in waders online course on
I
the
love that.
Deerfield. So yeah.
That's awesome. Megan, I see you unmuted.
Sure. Building effective teams.
Building effective teams, yeah.
That and how to help your kids with homework without pulling your hair out.
Ooh, see, you got the catchy titles. This is good. This is part of the branding. I think that was another question that came up at the beginning. How important is it to brand? And part of branding is the title of the course and making it something that's going to grab people's attention, but also make it clear what the course is going to be teaching.
I'm renaming mine as How Not to Die from COVID.
Catchy. I dig it.
Can we buy that course for other people?
Say again?
Can we like gift that course to other people? Like at the grocery store?
Yeah.
I think you can, Megan, but the odds of them actually completing the course, your engagement numbers are going to be pretty low, I'm guessing. All right. So that was the first step to coming up with your big idea, right? So the next step is how do you weigh what is an idea that's worth pursuing here? So looking at your list, you could think about it three ways. And put a star next to ideas that are something that your people need to know. Your people being your potential clients, your existing clients, something they need to know, either to do business with you, to succeed, to be happier in their lives, like a foundational thing that they have to know. Could also be something that you do that creates raving fans. Every time you do this thing, teach women how to fly fish, they're just like, their lives are changed and they're talking about it at book club and, at carpool pickup. Or something that feels like it's your purpose, something that you are super motivated and passionate about. If you have 3 stars next to something, that's a winner. And the reason why I give you these 3 kind of characteristics is because something your people need to know that speaks to the value that you're providing, the transformation that you're offering them. It also speaks to maybe business efficiency. So if this is one of those things that you're constantly talking about with every single client you work with, and you're like, oh, I don't want to repeat myself again, this is something that they need to know. Something you do that creates raving fans. This speaks to, we don't just want to put out a course. We want to put out a course that brings people back into your pipeline over and over, and that they are telling their friend about, so that they're coming to buy your course too, or buy your services. So we want it to be effective and engaging. And then something that feels like it's your purpose. You know, course creation is not easy. It takes effort. And so having something internally that's driving you, knowing what your why is going to help you overcome any of those obstacles throughout the process. So does anyone have something that they have put 3 stars next to? Benna, did I see you nod your head?
I didn't, but I was excited about what you were saying, because I work for the Chamber of Commerce, and all of these things are wonderful ideas. And I was thinking about just what you were saying, it takes a lot of effort, and that perhaps they could use a platform for the courses. And I feel like that was something that we could provide, perhaps. It was just a thought.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so when you say a platform, you mean a way to
I mean, we have
market it?
those questions that you're talking about. You get questions all the time. Like, yes, we do. Like, I want to do, grant writing, or how to start a business, or I want to become a realtor, or all of the things that you've been saying are just ring true. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Awesome, thank you. Okay. So who has an idea that they would be willing to workshop? And what's in it for you here, if you volunteer, is that by the end of this workshopping, we will have outlined your audience that you're talking to, the problem you're solving for them, the transformation you're providing, and then we'll begin to identify how you will get them from A to B. So lots of value on the table here for whoever is brave enough to raise their hand.
I'll play, Jess.
Ooh, is that Megan?
It is.
Awesome, thank you, Megan. Okay, what's the idea you want to workshop?
Building highly effective teams.
Building highly effective teams. Awesome. Okay, so let's start at the beginning with, who is that for? Who's the target audience? Whose teams are being built?
Yeah, school leadership, business leaders.
All right, so I'm going to pause you right there. So which one is it? Because if it's for everyone, then it's for no one.
Yeah. Let's go with business leaders, because we're talking about the chamber.
All right, so it's for business leaders to build highly effective teams. Now, business leaders in what industry?
I would say that work with more than 3, that have more than 3 or 4 people on their team.
Okay. So business leaders with 3 or more people on their team, are they new leaders or established leaders?
Both.
All right, I'll let that slide for now. Well, so let's.
I'm trying, Jess. I'm trying.
Oh, this is great. This is great. So if it's a new leader, would you be teaching them different tools than if it's an established leader?
I think the theory of practice would be, no, I think it would be the same. Or do you want me to just say new leaders?
I don't know. This is your course, Megan.
New business leaders who aren't necessarily used to working with groups of people in a leadership capacity.
All right, cool. So We could keep drilling down, but I'll leave it there for now. So these are new leaders. So where are they right now? And like, how are they feeling about the idea of building an effective team?
Yeah, so effective teams don't just happen, but they're carefully curated, developed, and supported.
Mhm.
And I think the pain point that a lot of places have is they just expect grownups to work really well together, and that doesn't always happen.
Mhm. Yeah. So putting yourself in the shoes of this new leader, how are they feeling? Are they like confident? They're like, yeah, I'm going to get this. Or are they like doubting themselves a little bit? And you're like, I don't know how to do this.
They're probably a little overwhelmed.
Mhm. Yeah. And so maybe there's also like a lot of systems that they need to learn, like, performance management systems, and maybe they're expected to learn coaching skills and, right?
Sure.
Okay.
And figure out how to make people work more effectively and efficiently.
Mhm. Yeah. And then maybe there are interpersonal dynamics on the team that they're having to navigate, like conflict resolution and that kind of stuff. Okay. So feeling of overwhelm, the transformation. So by the end of this course on building effective teams for new managers, what will be different for them?
You know, Jess, after people take my course, they will feel so much more confident to address any problems that arise within their teams. They will have the toolkit.
Yeah, so they can address problems. And what about like proactively doing things?
And they will have a series of steps and activities to use with their team so their team can help address those problems as well.
Okay. Yeah. Is there anything around like culture building, like how to build put the things in place to have a really high functioning team?
Yeah, so I think you start with the individual. So helping individuals kind of realize what part they play within a team. Then you talk about how the team interacts and what workplace culture is. And then you move a little bit larger to the community and the systems.
Okay, so you just identified a learning pathway, which is number 4. So, we're thinking about like, where are they starting? Do they even know like what are the elements of an effective team? So maybe we start there, and then we're taking them on this journey so that by the end they get to that transformation that Megan articulated, feeling confident, feeling capable, having the tools.
And making so much money as a result.
Ooh, all right. People like to make money in their business. Yeah. So what's the other thing? Oh, the other thing is like skills, so you talked about having the tools. Maybe if this is a part of the transformation that you're promising is that they will be competent and able to apply the tools to various scenarios. Maybe then part of the pathway is that you need to give them opportunities to practice skills and get feedback. So, depending on the transformation that you're offering to people, that will inform the pathway that you take them on. Because if it's not about skills, if it's just about the knowledge that they're going to get, then that's a different pathway. But if we want to give them time to practice these skills, then we're going to need to build that in. Does that make sense? Sweet. What do you think about your course, Megan?
I think I'm going to make millions.
I love the confidence. So this was Megan's example, but what did you all notice? And thank you for volunteering as tribute. What did you all notice in the process? Is this a process that you've walked through in your planning before? Was this new to you? Dan, you're nodding. This is familiar.
Yeah, it's familiar, definitely familiar. I think something that a question that raised upon kind of going through this is the audience is what if it's kind of coming up, like if you're marketing to which audience, if the product you're offering isn't for the person that has like the end decision making in the process. Like it's like if someone's doing the research, but that's not the person that can make the final decision, who are you marketing to?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So can you give me a specific example? What's this? Yeah.
Say if I wanted to develop some sort of like a homeschooling program, and they don't, if for someone that's like in elementary school, and they obviously don't have the final decision making, it's going to go through a parent or even like an office manager and like a business owner. Who are we marketing it to? Who is that audience?
Yeah, so I mean, you want to think about like who is going to have eyes on whatever it is that you're sharing. So whose interest do you need to attract, and whose desire? But then, if there are multiple stakeholders, like the person who's going to buy it and then the person who's going to like take it at the end of the day. Like I'm talking to the prospective client right now. His buyers are HR directors, and then the end user is like the people that work on manufacturing floors for these businesses. So we need to convince the HR director that it's a good return on investment, and that they can expect to see better, fewer safety incidents and better efficiency and productivity and things like that. So we convince them to buy it, but then we gear the actual content toward that end user, not to the HR director, to the end user, right? Okay. All right. So if you have taken a lot of this in and you're like, whoa, there's a lot more that I don't need, that I don't know yet. And there were a lot of questions I haven't gotten to about tech and things like that. Scan this QR code, hop on a free course clarity call with me. It's an hour of my time. I happily will chat with you, answer all your questions. So I offer that to you now if you're wanting a deeper dive. And okay, I'm trying to give you enough time to get out your phone and scan. And if you haven't done that, but you want to schedule a call, just let me know in the chat and I'll drop the link there too. Okay. So I wanted to give you an idea of like, what is the end result of an online course like? What can it look like? So these are a couple of graphics that I've designed for some clients. The one on the left here is for a full-length course. So you can see the course player on the computer screen. It's got like the menu on the left and then a video, it's branded. This is on a platform I use called Thinkific. They have a really robust free membership level. So if you want to create one course for free, see how it goes before you're investing in a monthly fee for the platform, you can. And that's what a lot of my clients use to get started. And then, it's accessible on different devices. Usually we create a workbook. You can see it's similar here on the right-hand side with the monthly membership. So if you have ever considered creating a membership online, that's also possible in Thinkific and a lot of other platforms. And there are different reasons why you would choose a membership over a hybrid course or a mini course. And we can get into that on a course clarity call if you want to talk through the best format. To give you some more visuals of what this can look like. It could be like a text lesson. So if you have an assignment, you want people to go do something, you can have a text lesson for that. If you want to gather their input at the beginning, I like to have pre-surveys and post-surveys on all my courses. And the pre-survey is, I'm asking things like, what are you hoping to gain from this course? But also assessing like their current level of proficiency or comfort with the thing in their life that we're going to transform over this course. So that at the end, I ask the same question, ask them to rate it, and we can then use that in our marketing and messaging to say 95% of people who take this course go from feeling this way to this way. This is what a video lesson looks like. This is what a sales page can look like. So, a lot of these systems out there have sales pages built in, and they allow you to brand it with a logo, with your colors, and it pulls in the course content. So it looks really professional, really nice, and the payment system is all integrated with your PayPal or your Stripe. So that's what it looks like. We've got 8 more minutes. So, what we covered here today was like how it can help your bottom line to do an online course. what some ideas might be for you. Go from your idea to an outline of what you might want to teach. So with that, I'm going to stop talking. This is all the ways you can get in touch with me. And I'm going to open it up to questions. So I know we had a couple questions about equipment and tech. Were there other questions as well? Mike.
Jess, can you just drop in the chat the link to that platform you just showed?
Yeah, the link for, oh, Thinkific. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I couldn't quite understand. Thinkific?
No, it's a terrible name. Everybody struggles with it. Thinkific. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
There are tons of other platforms out there. Teachable, Kajabi, Podia, New Zenler. There's a million out there. So the way I would say you can start to try and choose is to think about what functionality is most important to you in your course. Do you need to be able to have a really robust community where learners are connecting with each other and commenting? And do you need to have live events integrated? Do you need to have your videos and audio files hosted directly on the platform, or are you already paying to like host them on Vimeo or somewhere else? Do you want to integrate your website functionality and your email marketing all into the same platform like Kajabi, which is the industry leader? It costs $200 something a month. Do you want it all in one platform, or are you okay with integrating multiple platforms with each other? So some questions for you to think about. So there was a question about video editing, and so it's totally possible to take to record your own videos, to DIY. And I would say like the most important thing is to make sure that your sound quality is good, because if people can't hear what you're saying, like that's much more of a distraction than if your lighting isn't excellent. Or if you're not like super crisp on the video.
Yeah.
I would also say, there are so many tools out there where you can record from home now. You can use the built-in camera on your computer. You can use, headphones like this, or you can get like a Blue Yeti mic for, $100 or whatever. And you can record like screen shares on Zoom. Although if you're recording to the cloud, the quality is not going to be as good with the video. So if you want to use Zoom to share your screen, I suggest you record to your computer. What else did I want to say about that? You can use software like Loom. Loom is great, Loom, for doing screen share. So it will have like a little picture of you in the bottom left, and then, or you can drag it around to wherever you want it on the screen, and then it shows whatever you're showing on your screen. So if you need to walk people through a technical process or a website, or like click here, then there, or even a slideshow, you can use Loom to do that. You can also use Canva. If you're familiar with the graphic design software Canva, they now have a presenter studio, and you can record with your image and the Canva presentation right there. Questions?
Yeah, I have a question, Jess. What are a couple of courses that you either developed or that you've run across that are gold standards?
Okay, I'll give you one of each. So one that I've run across is a year-long course program by a company called the Dow Janes, and it's a financial wellness program specifically for women. And they have a really awesome 12-month framework. They've got content that you're watching videos. They've got workbooks for each module. They've got a weekly momentum call that you can dial into and ask questions and get coached on. It's just really well done, and they keep you really motivated. Like you can tell that it was designed by someone who understands behavior change and learning theory. one that I have designed, let's see, there's one that I did with a book publisher, a boutique book publisher. And she has become an expert on how to publish your memoir on Amazon and get it to bestseller status. So we created a course where she was teaching people exactly how to do that. And in the course, she provided templates for them to format their books. She walked them through how to design a book cover. They had assignments to do those things. And she did screen sharing tutorials to show them exactly where to click in Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I would love to hear in our last 2 minutes, like what you're walking away from this with, like what takeaway for you. Feel free to drop it in the chat if you're not able to come
I mean,
off mute.
it seems it's given me some ideas about how to monetize some of the things that I've done, or think of a different kind of content delivery for some potential clients around training or education for a broader array of a company or an industry's workforce than I normally would have thought of, in terms of taking my knowledge base and making it useful to them in a way that they might want to pay, that they might pay for, as opposed to, yeah, that's great, but we're not going to pay for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you, Mike. Oh, Jennifer, thank you. Yeah, there is a lot to know, which is why I'll just shameless plug. Don't do it alone. Please don't try to do this alone. It's possible. You absolutely can. You can take courses out there. There are industry leaders who teach you how to DIY. Totally possible. What I've seen from my friends who have tried to do it by themselves, they get it done most of the time, sometimes not. But they get it done. It takes a year for them to get all of the elements, because they're learning every piece of it. Now, if you want to be able to replicate this over and over, maybe that's a good investment of your time and energy. But if not, if you just want to be the expert at what you know and let other people do all the pieces that you're not the expert in, it's worth it. Because, you know, I work with a client, we're done in 3 months. They have a course that's live. So that's my plug. And I know we're at time, so I just want to say thank you, Vince. Thank you to all of you for playing along and for participating and taking time out of your day to learn about this.
Let me also say thanks to all of you for joining us, and thank you, Jess, for informing us and getting us excited about thinking about creating our own courses. Probably got 5 topics and wouldn't know which one that I can monetize the most, but certainly you gave us some ideas on how to make that happen. So thanks for kicking off our educational programming as part of this Connect campaign season. And I wish everyone the very best, and we look forward to your online courses.
All right, take care.
And do join us for other things that are coming, so stay tuned.
Thanks, Jess. Thank you. It was
Thank you,
great.
Jenna. It was my pleasure.